There are 3 questions you need to answer before you prepare for your presentation. And if you answer these 3 questions effectively, your listeners will become more interested, more engaged, more captivated by your presentation. And it also helps them to remember what you shared for a very long time. So here are the 3 questions. What is your roti? What is your proof? And what is your funda? Let me explain. Number 1, what is your roti? Roti stands for return on time invested. What is more difficult to do, listening or speaking? It turns out listening is getting more difficult these days because as humans, our attention span is getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and some people say we are as good as a goldfish. When I get invited to speak in front of 2,000 people for 1 hour, the way I look at it is like this. 2,000 people is spending 1 hour listening to me. That is, they are investing 2,000 hours listening to me. Can I give them value? So return on time invested is for you to think about what is the value you're going to give in return for the time your listeners are investing in you. Because when you do, they will be happy that they listen to you and they'll come back to listen to you again. Question number 2, what is your proof? As a speaker, the number 1 thing you can do to increase your ability to persuade is to maintain your credibility. So whatever you say, show or do during a presentation, make sure you support it by proof, or you have the evidence as a backup in case someone challenges you during a presentation, especially during these virtual rooms. If you say something and people start typing in the chat box, that can reduce your credibility. So make sure whatever you say, show, do during a presentation, you can back it up with evidence. I'm not saying you should show the evidence all the time, but at least you should have the ability to defend your points. So the question number 1 was, what's your roti, return on time invested? Question number 2, what's your proof? Going to question number 3, what is your funda? Funda is an acronym. It stands for, after listening to your speech, what do you want your audience to feel? What's the emotion you want to leave behind? What do you want? Do you want your audience to be happy, to feel inspired, to believe in your vision, to take action on your vision? What is the emotion you want to leave behind? That's F, feel. U, unveil. After listening to your speech, what do you want your listeners to unveil? What's a new thing that you're going to share with them? What will they learn from your presentation? What are some insights you can share that probably they didn't know before? This will make them feel that they learned something, they got something in return for listening to you. If you look at Steve Jobs, he always unveils points as you share his presentation, maybe unveiling a product or an idea or an insight or a statistics. Moving on. After listening to your presentation, what do you want your audience to notice? You see, your audience is busy. They may not be paying close attention to what you are saying or the context of a presentation. So remember to ask them questions, to make them think, make them remember the context of a presentation, because they have been moving from meetings to meetings and then they listen to you. You need to make them think about the context, think about your content, and also your interaction with them. Make them present by asking them some questions and reminding them about the context. After listening to your presentation, what do you want your audience to do? That's the D of funda. What's the action you want them to take? What's the exact next step you want them to take? And just because you ask them to take a step, do you think they will take it? Most likely not, until they know what they will achieve by taking action. That's the A in the funda. So after listening to your speech, what do you want your audience to feel, unveil, notice, do, and achieve? And here is what I recommend to myself and to the people I coach. Whatever you say, show, or do during a presentation, make sure you're 100% aligned with your funda. I even have a sheet of paper where I have what I call the funda form. You can also download it from my website for free. What I do is I write down my funda. What is the what do you want them to feel, unveil, notice, do, achieve, and make sure whatever I say, show, or do is 100% aligned with the funda. So recap of the 3 questions: what is the ROTI, what's the return on time invested, what is the audience, are you going to give immense value to the listeners, what is your proof, whatever you say, show, or do, make sure you can back it up with evidence, and what is your funda, what do you want the audience to feel, unveil, notice, do, and achieve. Here is a tip. Make sure you think about the stories you can share, the metaphors you can share, the analogies you can share, some information you can share, and plan it. Prepare the funda form, prepare all the answers to all these questions before you start preparing your slides or start typing content or script. You know why? Because when you do, you ensure that you're helping your audience to become more interested, engaged, and captivated by your presentation. I look forward to seeing you on stage.